good morning, good evening. Since we are a global event, obviously there are audience members watching this program from different parts of the world. So I hope everyone is having a good day, whether it's the morning or the afternoon or the evening. So my name is Danji Totapalli. I am the Chief Curator, Festival Director of Indic Film Utsav. And I am truly delighted to be here with my colleagues. We will do some introductions just now. But I wanted to say that, it's a great feeling that the fourth Indic Film Utsav is now underway. We have started accepting submissions. It feels great because film festivals have such a short shelf life. The attrition rate in film festivals is so high. Some of them don't even go past. In fact, most of them don't last more than a year or two at the most. So the fact that we have survived and we are in the fourth year is a testament to our commitment and this team's commitment and the passion of the people, our audience members who love watching films that we curate is truly a wonderful thing. So like that, now I'd like to Nikita, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Nikita Hatangadi. I'm head of programming. And I'm also so excited that it's year 4. We've already started getting submissions and we're well into the 3 digits. So it's been really nice to see a variety of films. We have films from all over India. We've gotten submissions this year from other Asian countries and even the Middle East. So that's exciting to have a diversity of films being submitted.
Christian, you want to go next?
Hey, namaste, everybody. It's good to see everybody here. Danji, Nikita, Pavan. Welcome all of our people viewing this event. Again, I'm Christian Frost, and I'm head filmmaker liaison here at the festival. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just kind of amazed that this is the 4th year that we're doing this. I mean, again, Danji and we were talking about it earlier that, some of these things just don't last, people try and get these things off the ground, but we've had a really great 3-year run so far. So I'm just amazed at how much we've accomplished. And again, before I say anything else, just a big thank you to the whole entire Indic team and staff and everybody who's been working so tirelessly over these many, many years to actually make this reality. I mean, we all know how much work it takes. I'm not sure if the attendees and viewers know how much work it takes to put one of these on, but we've had a wonderful time. At least I have, interacting with all these different filmmakers over the years and looking at amazing work and being a part, touching their lives just for a brief moment in their careers, wherever they are at. And it's been a real pleasure. But yeah, I can't believe it's the 4th year. It's just quite amazing and just a testament to, I think, the core values of the festival, what we're trying to do, and that people are still interested, and want to see this, the amazing work. So hats off to all of you and all of our filmmakers over the years and our team and staff. Just a great job. So we're just really looking forward to this year and having another successful event. So yeah, so I'll hand it over to Pavan.
Yes, namaste. My name is Pavan Janakiram. I've been associated with Indica and Indic Pictures for the last 4 years since its inception. I'm a senior programmer here. As a student of film, I love to watch films and learn more about filmmaking. And this journey has been extremely educating. It's just like been a blessing to watch all these films and see these filmmakers grow since they submitted their films to us. So yeah, this is exciting. 4th year. And I cannot wait to see what we have going on this year and how we can add value to the filmmakers that have submitted their entries to us. Thank you.
Christian and Pawan, thanks so much for being, co-passengers on this journey. So truly, truly appreciate and thank you for all the help and support and passion that you bring to this project. So I wanted to also talk, get a little bit of a set of facts out there in terms of what we're doing in the other area as far as Indica Pictures is concerned. And then we go over to Nikita and we'll do a little lamp lighting ceremony. And then we'll get into our conversation today. So just a quick summary of what we're doing, what we've done in the past few months. After the third Indic Film Utsav last November, we actually concluded our photography grant project. We have a photography grant project and called Indica Culture Photography Grant. And under that grant, we had selected 8 photographers and given them a certain theme. And they went out and shot their portfolios, brought them back. We pooled a set of professionals, writers, anthropologists, and designers to create a coffee table book out of those 8 photographers' portfolios. So the coffee table book called Anveshana was published earlier this year in January at a beautiful event in Hyderabad. It's available on Amazon. Please search for Anveshana, Indica Pictures, and you will get a link and you can absolutely, it's a wonderful book. I would recommend it to anybody who's interested in the indigenous communities of India, which are the tribal communities, which we call Vanavasi, the farming communities, which we call Gramavasi, and the nomadic communities that we call Sancharavasi. So Anveshana is about these 3 set of types of communities in India. It has some great pictures, and those pictures go with some really good text. This is something I feel very proud about, and this team feels very proud about for being able to pull off. Then, of course, we announced another project called K. Vishwanath Memorial Short Film Contest, but we'll talk about it a little later because it has a little bit of connect to this, even though it is a completely separate project. It's a completely separate project. It has a little bit of a connect to what we're doing at Indic Film Utsav. So we'll talk about it later. With that, I turn it over to Nikita for a lamp lighting.
So here's our beautiful little diya. And I'm just going to light that the old-fashioned way with matches. I think I'm going to light it that way. Let's see. Here we go. It's lit.
Oh, wow. That's so illuminous. And
It is.
Yeah, it's
It's
great.
really beautiful. And it's such a nice, when we start any auspicious activity, we have to light a lamp so that we can be filled with knowledge and clarity, get out of the darkness.
yes,
So this is really beautiful.
that's beautiful. The way it's emanating the light, it's so.
It is. And
so
I got to
lovely.
put it towards the, oops, you can't see it from there. I was going to put it near our elephant.
Yes,
All right.
that's beautiful.
Looks
Thank you
great.
so much, Nikita, for doing
Thank
that.
you.
So, wow, momentous. Okay, it's really momentous. So, hey, I wanted to ask, what are you guys up to? I know, besides volunteering at Indica Pictures, we have our own lives. Besides professional life, of course. We also do other creative stuff. So, shall we start with Nikita? You want to talk about, tell us a little bit about what your creative project that you've been up to?
Yeah, just last month we finished editing my second short film that we shot last year. It's an English-Italian drama film about a yesteryear opera singer. She's kind of lost her way in life. So we just started our festival circuit with that project. And then I have some writing projects. I'm currently in India. I'm in Pune. So I'm going to be, hopefully, one of those projects will materialize and I'll be able to do another film project soon. So yeah, it's been an exciting year, a very busy year, and we are in the middle of monsoons.
Oh yeah.
So that kind of postpones everything. I mean, even if one of those projects does pick up, we're either going to have to change the story to a story that's stuck in the rain, or we're just going to have to wait for the rains to calm down.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of meeting Christian earlier this year, and we met in Mumbai, and we had a lot of food in a beautiful location that Christian picked out. So tell us about your very exciting project that you did.
Well, it's a project obviously when you're doing something on the side, it's you never know when it's going to kind of be completed. So it's an ongoing, but at least I kicked it off in a good fashion. As many of you know, I work in the film industry in Los Angeles. I'm on the creative marketing side. So I work for an agency out of Los Angeles, but my client is Disney Plus. So a lot of the visual work that I work on is on the Disney streaming platform, working on Marvel titles and Star Wars titles and things that you see. So I've always been on the visual side of the marketing aspect of the industry. And as a result, I've just, have been really interested in a lot of different types of those mediums. I actually collect a lot of old types of movie posters, with the help of some friends there in India. And over the years, I've just become more interested in the visual medium of marketing these posters. And so, especially the ones found in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, that time period, specifically right now, just in terms of my knowledge, mostly in the Hindi film industry in Bombay. And so as I did some research, I realized that there's a lot of these artists that actually designed a lot of these hand painted posters are actually passing away just because of their age. And no one has ever really kind of documented their stories in terms of their professional lives, but also their personal journeys, their sacrifices. And so I had the opportunity to actually, I've been talking about this for a long time, and I feel kind of, I wish I had done this a lot sooner, because since I had the idea, even more had passed on. And so I decided that I was just going to go ahead and do it. So last May, I headed out there and started to conduct some interviews with some of these individuals. And it was really amazing, really touching stories. I think it's just taking a snapshot of humanity in a different industry, in a different time. But we realize that all of us kind of are in the same journey with lives, with our careers and families and obstacles. And like most people, we just kind of barrel through them and focus and try to break through and do our best. And so there's been a lot of I've had the opportunity to meet some of these elderly gentlemen, as well as some current artists that are in the industry that are working on big films within the Bollywood Hindi film industry, as well as marketing executives and their perceptions and influences by these old artists. So it really gives a good sense of, the impact that these individuals were having on lots of different parts of the industry. So again, I'm just kind of starting out, hoping to cut something down a little short, kind of like a sizzle reel on the, on the basic idea of the project, so I can actually raise a little bit of extra money and do how I envision it in terms of scope and length and but obviously, what's really interesting is that this is just one part of the Indian film industry. You have the same exact issue happening in Bengali film, Tamil films, all over the entire country. And so if I'm doing it just here in the Hindi side, I don't know who's actually doing it on the other. So I might expand out, but then, that might just become too overwhelming. So I'm just kind of a one-man show right now with a couple other people. So we're just going to try to just keep going and see where it happens. But anyway, so that's what I've been doing recently. So yeah, thanks for asking.
Those posters were really, something that people looked forward to seeing. The big hoardings when you're going through the town and have people actually painting them is so amazing. Now we're in a digital age, so you just get everything printed. The posters, you can just mix pictures together and make a poster. But those hand painted.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that, how as the industry changed, what happened to their jobs, and how that trial was another stage of their lives. But like you said, Nikita, to me, the visual medium is so colorful and dynamic. A lot of these posters, that's really kind of what grabbed me originally, and that's what sparked my interest in the medium. So it's really cool. I actually have a big 2-sheet. So a 2-sheet is basically two what we call 1-sheet posters, 28 by 40, whatever it is, on its side, and it's Sholay.
Oh.
And it's huge. It's huge right here. It's sitting next to me with Bachchan and Dharmendra, on top. Actually, it looks like somebody's strangling somebody else, and there's kind of a lower image with them on a motorbike. Obviously, the famous scene where they're singing on the motorbike, and Amitabh Bachchan with looks like a machine gun or something. So it's very, it's a little rough, but it definitely speaks to the action and the time of the poster, and it's an original, which is really, really cool. So
I know.
But anyway, there you go.
Pavan and Danji were the posters in Andhra films and Kannada films similar, where you could really feel, like what Christian is saying, you could really feel what the movie was about just by the hand-painted posters?
Yes. I can speak for Karnataka. Yes, they were dynamic, they were colorful, and they spoke of the time. They spoke of the maker as well. I mean, in case of Kannada industry, we had distinct footprint of each of the filmmakers' style in the poster. We knew this was a Putana Kannada film, or we knew this was, which director that is. We could tell from the feel. That was unique to the Kannada industry, and the story, and who's involved, and what we're going to see. We got a good glimpse of it from these posters. Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. How about you, Pavan? What have you been up to?
I guess we are always writing, right? You're writing something or the other. If you are in this passion, in this interest, it has been a very busy first half of 2023. For me, I staged a play. We staged a play, a team of us, for the Kannada Association here in Los Angeles, their 50th year celebration. It was all done in 2023, the writing, the rehearsals, and the staging part. And it's an interesting story that I dealt with this time. It had to do with gender bias. We presented it in a way that had message, and it was entertaining as well to the audience. We had about 250 to 300 attendees for this short play. I wouldn't call it an entire 2-hour play. It's a short play, and it was well received, and we received quite a bit of appreciation and feedback. And every time you go out and stage something, you learn something. So I'm a hobbyist playwright and a play director primarily. And if I could just write for the rest of my life, I would do that. Direction is a lot of burden, but that's where I was this year. I'm in the middle of, I'm almost finishing up with the writing process for a short film. And it's gonna, go to the floors as soon as I finish writing. That's typically how I work. I mean, I can't stay put after it's been completed. So that's something I'm working on next. So a short film in the offing and a play in the first half of the year. So that's where I was.
Nice.
Yeah,
Right.
Danji, we want to hear from
yeah. So I too have been pursuing some creative stuff outside of course. All this is very creative, whatever we're doing. But personally, right? I mean, so I wrote a bunch of short stories, tiny, in fact, ultra short stories, I would call them. The target audience is teens, teenagers living in the US or any outside of India, where so all the stories are in the genre of magical realism. And Hanuman, the god Hanuman, all these stories are about him and how he does something that impacts those characters in the film, in that story, right? So these are 10 stories. They're all set in the US setting. They happen. In fact, some of the stories, there is no Indian character. In fact, many of the stories, there is no Indian character in it. There are some stories with Indian characters, but a lot of them are mainstream American people. I mean, of course, what I mean is, culturally not Indian. And they encounter Hanuman in a whimsical, magical way. So that's the story. So they have been written, proofread by professionals. I'm finalizing an artist to do the sketches for each story. Each story is going to have a little sketch and a cover kind of a thing. And I hope to get it out of the print shop maybe in about a month. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's really exciting.
That's great.
Thank you.
Fun.
Oh yeah.
Donji,
I enjoyed it.
Donji, it was really interesting. I wanted to share one little hiccup in my project that reminded me of all the filmmakers, that have submitted films and just how hard this process is. And I think I had mentioned it to you maybe a month ago. But again, filmmaking, I love it. I'm not very good, but I try, and sometimes when you're doing these things by yourself, you're just one person just trying to, fulfill a goal and a dream. But one of the first interviews that I interviewed this gentleman, and I didn't get to look at the footage until I got back. And then I realized I had no audio.
Wow.
From one of the interviews.
Yeah,
and so I was just distraught. I was going, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And somehow the audio gain on the camera somehow got turned down. So, you'd had to, if you had 1 to 100, you had to turn up to 100 just to hear maybe a little bit of something. But fortunately, I realized that I actually had a second camera from my iPhone from the side, and I was able to capture the audio for the interview. So that, but what it just spoke to me about is just the process. And it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to have, these bumps that happen along the way. And it just, to me, I just think about all these people, all these individual filmmakers and teams that have been submitting things to us, and just all that work and just all the trials. And so, with the festival, we get to hear a lot about these stories. And so that's what's really fascinating. And hopefully when people hear them, they'll want to keep going on their projects. But anyway, it's just something I wanted to share that I thought was relative to, the festival and the process.
My respect for filmmakers is so high. I'm amazed at the passion, and obviously, unless they have that passion, filmmaking is not an easy process. It's extremely complex, extremely difficult, and it involves, unless you have that, that ability and that the dream in your mind that yes, I want to do this, it's impossible to make films. Yeah,
I think while you're making it, you're like, this is the last film I will ever make in my life. and then when you're done and then an idea comes, you're like, okay, let's make another one. In our last shoot, we started at 9 in the morning and we were scheduled to finish at 7 in the evening. Something kept happening and we all ended up going home at 5:30 a.m. the next day.
Oh God.
And then we had to be back on set by lunchtime.
Yeah, that's amazing. We all have such very different skill sets. Nikita and Pavan, Danji, I look at each of you and I see like a specific skill that I wish I had. And we're four very different people. And just, it's like, Nikita, there's probably certain things you wish you were able to do better. And, Danji. And so it's amazing that, even with our limited ability to do other things, that we're able still to focus and try to
I think
complete these goals.
The roles that we play actually with Indica Pictures really fits our personality because you're really good at, communicating with people. So communicating with filmmakers and being able to build that relationship is one of your strengths, I think, Christian. And
yeah, I didn't think about that.
Overlooking everything, having that vision is yours. And Pavan is, I think, detail oriented. Being a writer, he can look at, small films in detail, features, shorts, everything more in detail. And, I have a vision for what the programming overall should look like. So that's my thing. And I think we've all been placed appropriately in the roles that we play.
Yes, I agree.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good insight. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think let's talk about the fourth Indic Film Utsav. And let me get started. In fact, let's talk about what we do, right? And then we'll talk about what's changing in the fourth Indic Film Utsav. So Indic Film Utsav is a global 24/7 OTT online film festival, right? That's how we describe it. What does that mean? It's online, which means you can watch the film, any film on our slate during those 4 days, November 9th to November 12th, anywhere in the world, right? You can just go to the website, browse the films, click on a film, and to play. You don't need a login ID, nothing, right? So therefore, our audience is global, and the audience for Indic films with Indic messages is spread out. They're all over. They're in India, they are in the US, they are in the UK, they are in Middle East, they are in Far East, they're in South Africa, Europe, all over the place. So everybody gets to watch them, and they can watch them anytime. Midnight, 2 a.m. They can go and watch. So that's the power of the streaming model that we picked. The second is it's a competitive festival. That means there is a best film, best feature film, best documentary, best short film kind of awards, right? Then these films are available the filmmakers themselves are from all over the world. Last year we had a film from South Africa. So briefly, and you can go to our website, which is https Indica.Pictures, to get all the information about our festival. But let's get to what's changing. Okay, there are a few things changing, a couple of things changing, and so the first one, I would preface it by saying that the first 3 years of our festival were like a runway, right? We had a runway, we needed wings, to fly. So we did a few things in order to help us get that momentum. And one of them was prize money. right? We offered prize money to the winning films. We offered a good amount of prize money. You know, we had about, you know, we had 1 lakh for the best feature, 1 lakh for the best documentary, 50,000 for, you know, special mentions, and 20,000 for short films, and so on and so forth. That is going away. That is going away. So, 4th Indic Film Utsav, there is no prize money. There's no prize money. So that's an important change. The second thing is that one of the things that we always wanted to do is do a live event. Because we are such a global online event, you know, we never had, because of course, this had precedence in COVID, right? Because we started our festival just around the time when COVID was happening. So therefore, because of COVID, we couldn't do an in-person event. And now I think we are ready to do that. So we are going to be doing our opening night on 9th November. Is going to be a live in-person event in Hyderabad, India. So that's the big change. And so these are the two changes that are happening in the 4th Indic Film Utsav. So any thoughts, comments?
Wow, that's a big deal. Having a live event. I think that's
it's
we've
exciting.
been shooting for that for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, it's exciting for me because I see these audio launch events and trailer launch events and success meets on YouTube from movies, right? So I get the same feeling when you tell me that we will have a live event for Indica as well. Perhaps not, you know, I don't know about the scale, but it is the same feeling I get, you know, with something like this. And I think when we have a personal meeting or an event like this, it provides that emotional touch to it. It provides the passionate angle to it in a physical sense. Like it's, you know, there is only so far that we can go virtually, and we can touch audiences virtually, but or filmmakers for that matter. But when we all come together and meet, I think it'll go a much longer way. Like you said, the runway and the wings, and I think the personal the in-person event will provide the necessary boost and encouragement to us as a team.
Totally. Yeah.
It will, but the good thing is that being online, we never expected to have that many subscribers. How many do we have now? It's in the tens of thousands of
Tens of thousands, actually. Yeah.
I mean, last year, I mean, we've been growing, right? We started first year was 13,000, then 38,000, and then last year it was 43 or something like that. Or I mean, I can't remember the exact numbers, but significant, unique viewers, you know, in the streaming parlance, as they call it. Yeah. So that's great. So those are the changes. I also wanted to just quickly mention that the opening night that we talked about is going to coincide as a joint event with the K. Vishwanath Memorial Short Film Contest. That is a new project that we had announced, and a separate project from this, not connected to the Indic Film Utsav at all. But that received a humongous response. We got 1,080 last I checked, which is like last night, responses, and huge from all over the world, all over India, 12 different countries. And that project involves that they have to make a brand new film. Unlike Indic Film Utsav, where they submit their film that they've already made, this contest requires them to make a brand new film of 40 minutes, short film, you know, that feels like a Vishwanath film. I mean, that's a one-line, theme. So that event is also going to coincide with the 9th. So the 9th November event is going to be a big event. It's going to have a lot of people attending. I mean, not a lot of people, but it'll have it's an interesting event, and we all hope to be there. We're working towards that so that all of us can be there in person.
That's exciting.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
Danji, can you tell us any other maybe little Can you share any other kind of details in terms of a live event? Is that an opening and closing ceremony generally? I mean, I know that we've been to a lot of film festivals in the past, but generally, what that structure looks like? Are there going to be who might be attending? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know how the
partic-
Indian. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just any other information you can share, even though it's broad and general in scope at the moment. I'm sure because we're just still trying to figure that out.
So basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make this a film event, not a commercial film event, because commercial film events, like Pawan was referring to, are a whole different. They're fans, there's yelling, and there's all kinds of razzmatazz on the stage, and a lot of action happening. We're not doing that. We're doing a film festival event. So it's going to be a little bit different in the sense audience is going to be specifically people that are interested in films as a medium, right? And they will be so there's basically what we expect is we're going to have a reception. We'll have a red carpet, we'll have a step and repeat, and we'll have some media there, and then we'll have a reception followed by the opening night film screening. Now, when that happens, it's going to have two parts. There's going to be the first part, which is announcement of the winners of the K. Vishwanath contest. So they will all be there, those participants, and the jury members by then would have decided which is the best top 3 films, and they would go and announce that. So that's that, and then that will follow. That will be followed by the screening of our opening night film, and we are really working hard to find a film that people would love to watch in a theater. And then that will be followed by a dinner, right? So that's the whole program on the 9th. But we will have a lot of activities going on even before that, because we'll have to do the shot. So that will be the high level opening night. We do have a lot of support from the film industry in Hyderabad. So we will get, but just to excite everybody, one of the celebrities that agreed to come is an actress who played she acted in one of Vishwanath films. I won't say anything more.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll leave it at that.
I'm not going to say, but.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There's going to be a lot of people, but we're trying to do this more like a film festival event, as against a regular mainstream film event.
Great. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So cool. So Nikita, do you want to talk about the timeline for the Indic Film Utsav?
Yeah, we have until August 6th for submissions.
Coming up pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, that is coming up quickly. So make sure you get your films up. And usually what happens is when it opens, we get like 100 films, and then when it's the last 2 days, we get another 100 films because everyone's like, oh no, so you have some time. So go ahead and start submitting. And we still have free submissions for a couple more days. So, and then we will be making the announcement of the lineup of selected films on October 30th. And then we open on the 9th. And this year we also have one other new thing. We have a non-competitive section as well for films. We still want films that are positive, that have some kind of positive message, but can be films that are a little bit older than the date that we have set, which is, I believe it's the 21st.
January 1st. Okay,
January 1st. And So if it's a little bit older, but it's a great film, you can still participate in the festival. You just won't be in competition. And we hope to encourage international filmmakers as well. So if you have something that isn't Indic, but it is positive and goes with the values that we have, which if you go onto the Film Freeway page, you'll see everything listed, what you're allowed to submit and what you're not allowed to submit. And so I think that's going to be exciting because it opens up more doors for more filmmakers.
Yep, that's a great category to have. Wonderful. Anything else? We have 5 more minutes before we will wrap it up. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? I mean, what's happening in the film industry? You know, any trends? And have you? Has there been a film or two that you really liked that touched you? You know, anything that you want to talk about? I know the politics of the film industry is probably something that I don't want to get into it, but
it's horrifying.
Yeah.
But
Well, right now,
other
as
than
you know,
that,
Donji, as you know, right now we're dealing with a big actors and writers strike going on in the industry
Right,
right
yeah.
now. So
Yes,
that's
yeah.
really that's causing the ripple effects no one really quite understands yet. But obviously, on my side of that equation, you know, we're not sure kind of how that's going to affect all of our, you know, we have a lot of approval processes with talent and stuff that happens on our end, and with you know, agents and things like that, representing talent and stuff. And so hopefully there'll be some resolution to this. But the last time there was a writer strike in 2007 that lasted for 100 days. The actor strike before that, I believe in 2000, when commercial actors walked off, that was for 6 months. 4 months, 4 months, I think it was. 4 months. So that was a very long time. So, you know, that the timing probably couldn't be any worse right now, coming out of pandemic and trying to get back, you know, the industry back on their feet. But like, you know, there's been so many changes in terms of how we view content, streaming versus theatrical. And, you know, there's a lot of films here in the US that are coming out, you know, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, you know, a lot of these big films. And so it'll be very interesting to see, you know, kind of the fallout. But that's, you know, just some things that are happening in the world right now. I'm not sure, you know, your guys' take on it or other changes that are going on right now, but that's some things we're dealing with.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about RRR. The film that I think RRR is going to have such a big impact on the Indian film industry that few other films have had. And that the single most reason for that is that it mounted a campaign for the Oscars. I don't think any Indian film has done that before, because Indian films typically were officially nominated by the Indian Film Commission, and only those films made it into the foreign film category, right? No Indian film so far submitted itself outside of the Government of India nomination process. This is the first film that did that. And they followed the rules of how you campaign to win an Oscar. You know, they did everything that needed to be done. They did screenings for members. They did advertisements in newspapers, and they did a lot. And they won an Oscar, and in a category that Indian films should have won many, many times before, because we are so full of song and dance, right? But we never won. Of course, I mean, Slumdog Millionaire won for exactly the same category. But what I'm saying is an Indian film, right? I mean, Slumdog Millionaire was an Indian film, but made by a British production company.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a huge thing that happened that is going to have a significant impact in terms of how Indian films are going to compete at the Oscars in the future.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You know, a lot of the times it's the countries that are submitting in the foreign film category where, like you're talking about Slumdog, that was, I think, distributed by Fox Searchlight in the US. So they understood the process in terms of submission. Having worked on Academy campaigns with my time at DreamWorks for years, we had, the Saving Private Ryan's, Gladiators, Shreks, all these different types of, and it's a difficult process, but I think that's really interesting. You talked about RR, that they actually, didn't do that route. They probably, I'm sure they hired publicists and people that knew that path and what they had to do, because there's, you don't just have the main academy, academy guilds, but you have all the sub guilds, whether it's WGA, DGA, PGA, and they all have different rules. And trying to get to these members to have them vote is like chess, because you can't submit, something to somebody if they're a member of this guild. But if they're a member of this other guild, you can make to them differently. So there's a huge entire process that happens. And so that's very interesting, because I didn't know that about RR. So that's very interesting that to see if films that come out of India in the future actually go that route. But again, it's an expensive route. So they obviously had to have, that's a very, very expensive route. And it starts, a year in advance, because a lot of those things, whether it's also, BAFTA and all of these other guilds around the world, they all feed into that. It also has to do a lot with like the Hollywood Foreign Press, that actually is a step for the Academy, and with all of the issues that the Hollywood Foreign Press has had over the years, and they're kind of dropping in status with their internal issues that they've had. That's amazing. Great job for those guys, and it'll be interesting to see how that happens in the future. Excuse me.
Okay, so we are out of time. We're going to a 45-minute panel today. I think it's a very interesting panel. I loved it. I loved the spontaneity in our discussions, and I really enjoyed chatting with you guys.
Well, it's always fun. I always learn something.
Yeah,
It's
always fun.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot. And of course, we have a lot of work in front of us. So, we will be obviously, having, interacting more quite often going forward from this point on.
Yeah, and I think I just want to good luck to everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Good luck, everyone.
not just us. Good luck to us, but also good luck to all the team members, and also all the filmmakers, everyone that's submitting, their projects. Again, hats off to all of you, and again, really looking forward to seeing the lists and start to view stuff to pare down. As part of Nikita's team and their hard work, and Pavan, so it'll be exciting.
Yep.
So, thanks, Donji. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.